wanted to talk about love and hip hop. Not love and hip hop, but love and marriage. Okay? Heavy on the marriage. Heavy on the marriage. Love and hip hop, not too many people are married. But on this show, they are. And Love and Marriage Huntsville, that is actually what attracted to me to the show from the beginning. Actually, what attracted me to the show was that it was a reality TV show that I hadn't seen, and I wanted to check it out. But what really had me impressed with the show was that we had these three couples, beautiful black people, doing beautiful things for black people. I mean, just they were so impressive from the beginning. But then I guess it's just like real life. You peel back, you see the pictures on social media. You see the relationship in public. You go out to dinner with your friends and they just are so in love. But if you put a camera in their home, child, or if you get one of them on the phone, on the wrong day, child, you find out that there's some stuff going on. So when I realized that this was a Carlos King production, and probably gonna go the way of R&B divas, the same way I had the same exact same experience I had with Encore, I really should blame myself. When I realized that it was gonna be a run-of-the-mill reality show was when so they had all the couples together, or maybe just I can't remember details because this was the first season. We're on, I believe, the third season now, or the fourth season, I don't know, but I'm talking about the first season, and that was a while ago, and so I can't really remember details. So, but what I do remember is like I said, the first time that I was like, this is not going to be the positive lollipop Gil that I thought it was going to be. Kimmy and Tisha were talking about Mel negatively. Negatively, I shouldn't say negatively, but they were just being kind of mean girlish about Mel, and the way that the show was, the way that it had been seen so far was that, or the way that I had saw it so far was that they were all cool, and then Mel was a little bit Mel was a little bit standoffish, and I took that as her being stank. A little bit, but then once I saw how they were talking about her, I'm like, okay, I understand. And then I was team Mel at that time. And then as time went on, I saw that Mel is just like a kind of a stank person. She's very church shady, It's okay to be shady as long as we do it in the way that we believe that the Lord will approve of, which, is there a way to be shady that the Lord will approve of? No, you're being passive aggressive and stank. And her and that's just, I think that's just like, the work culture, work politics, where people have to be around you, so they same as church, people have to be around you, so they put on a smile and all this, but it's a lot of stuff behind that smile and hug, and even a hug, all that, it's fake. And a lot of the comments that they make behind that smile, or a lot of the comments that they make out of that smile, coming from that smile, are passive aggressive. And if you're someone straight up like Miss Wanda, if you are someone who doesn't mind saying that they feel a certain way, like Tisha, you're going to be looked at in a certain way, because we want you to be church shady too. We want you to say one thing and, well, I just said that Tisha and Kimmy were talking about Mel in the beginning, so I'm not going to act like Tisha is a saint. But I just kind of appreciate more of the way Tisha has been on the show versus the way Kimmy and and Mel and all of the other church shady people on the show are. They also call this professionalism. Some people call it professionalism. But that's, to me, you're talking about dealing with people that you have to deal with. You're not talking about your friends or people that you're hanging out with. People that you claim to love. I don't know that Kimmy has ever claimed to love any of these people, though. I don't know that Mel has ever claimed to love any of these people. But the way that it was portrayed to us on the show was that they were friends. And they had been friends for a long time. And that's why their behavior came off as questionable, in my opinion. So like I said, as time went on, I began to understand more why Mel was standoffish. And then as time went on more, I began to understand why they were talking about Mel. But then at the same time, that Mel, we learned that Mel, at the beginning of the season, at the beginning of filming, Mel was dealing with the fact that Martell was cheating again, And so part of her behavior is like that. Like so much of us, so much of what you see of us from a day-to-day is a result of what the hell is going on behind the scenes that you have no clue about. But stank is stank. And I'm a consumer, and I talk about consumer things. Like I'm just going to talk on what I see. I'm not going to keep on trying to be fair about the entire picture, because we all know that I don't know the whole picture. So I'm going to talk about what I see. Mel is stank and passive aggressive, and she throws rocks and hides her hands. I believe that Kimmy is a little bit of the same thing. And tonight's episode I saw with Mel's mom talking to Martell. Martell came in to get the kids, and she kind of confronted, or she in her church shady way, and this is church shade. He came in the house, she greeted him, and she told him, okay, you can wait right here by the door. Church shade. She didn't say anything too nasty. She didn't say anything too obviously hateful, but if you are paying attention at all, you know that she don't rock with you. And also, we know why she don't rock with him. If you talking all this mess about my daughter all over everywhere, I'm going to have an issue. And that's what she said. She said, you've been saying some pretty nasty things, and I just don't understand. But then she said, well, I'm not going to go there right now. So just, so he was just supposed to let whatever she said fly. Like, he couldn't say anything back. And to me, that's what I'm saying. Like, if you don't want any mess, if you want to be classy, nice and nasty, or no, if you want to be nice and not nasty, okay, then be nice. If you want to act like there's no problem, then act like there's no problem. If you want to act unbothered, then act unbothered. Don't say little snarky things to me and then act silly when I respond. He said, God knows what he said in response, but of course it was, he said that the things that he says are out of anger and there's sometimes a response to certain things. And she throws her hands up and I don't want to hear it. So Martell says, kids, come on, because your grandma just put her hand up at me. Okay. Why, Martell? Why? And she wanted to know why he did that too. But again, you shouldn't have came at it. You could have just, hello, and even if you just left it at, hey, wait right here by the door, and y'all just sat there and waited quietly until the kids came, right? It could have went just like that, but it didn't, because she wanted to get her little jab in, her little cut in, and that's what I'm talking about. I think Mel does that all the time. I think the way that Kimmy does it is way more covert. It's going to seem like I really don't like Kimmy, but I do not like the way she has been in regard to Tisha. And I think a lot of it comes from a lot of why I feel the way I do about the way Kimmy has been acting toward Tisha is because I frequent these groups, and I see how people praise Kimmy for just everything, any and everything. and just dog Tisha for everything. And I also see how Tisha would feel a certain way by the way that Kimmy, from the way that Tisha, or about the way that Kimmy treats Tisha, in comparison to the way that Kimmy treats Mel, in comparison to the way that Kimmy treats Kiowa. I mean, in comparison to the way that Kimmy seems to treat people whose relationship that she can appreciate, or that she appreciates. It's very, when someone does not rock with you like that, it's very obvious. And Tisha feels that, and Tisha really feels that when Kimmy says, when Tisha says that she didn't say anything about Mel, and then Kimmy says, yes, we did. It's she's bothered by that. And I think I would be too, to a certain, like, it's just, I think that Kimmy could really, I think that she don't like Tisha, and that's it. And I know people feel like, well, they don't like her either, and they understand why Kimmy doesn't like Tisha. But I feel like if Kimmy was so straight up, Kimmy would say she don't like Tisha and leave it there, and stop saying, I don't understand why you think that I don't like you. Well, I don't get it. I don't understand. Tell me. Stop doing that, girl. Tell her you don't like her and why, and hash it out. Like, gosh. Yeah, y'all have to be around each other because of your relationship and your yeah, y'all have to be around each other. But why not if you're so real, why not hash it out? Gosh. So that's how I feel. You know what I'm saying? I think I would like Kimmy. I would be cool with Kimmy if I knew her, especially if she was truly cool with me. You know what I'm saying? But if she isn't, I think that I would have the same issues that Tisha has, because I think that's the way she treats people who she's not truly cool with. Maurice said to her, or when Kimmy was asking her, coming to Maurice and to see if he agreed with, or if he saw faults in the way that she was dealing with Tisha. Like she was like, I feel like I need to really squash this with Tisha, but I need to also know if I'm tripping, basically, so let me go talk to Maurice about this. And so Maurice says that if, I hope that's not too loud. Maurice says that if Tisha is expecting for Kimmy to act any other way, to be anybody else than Kimmy, then she's going to be disappointed. Which I thought was funny, because I definitely feel like that Tisha needs to accept Kimmy for who she is, and not expect a damn thing from her. Least of all, any sort of friendship. So Kimmy says, well, that's funny, because I said that to Tisha. I said to her that, that I asked her if she expected me to be someone different than who I am because of who she is. And Kimmy said, and Tisha said yes. And they had a good chuckle at that. And I chuckled at them chuckling, because in the lens that I'm seeing this in, it's funny for a different reason. But I'm not going to say what. I'm not going to. I'm just going to say, you never know what someone like a Maurice or like a Marcel is really thinking. When they say something like, if somebody expects you to be somebody other than you aren't, they could be just saying, like, if someone expects better of you, then they shouldn't. Like, it could be a negative connotation. It probably is. I know, or it seems like, he really loves his wife. I love their relationship. I love to see them in the house together. I love Kimmy, Maurice, and the kid. I love them to the side. I love Kimmy when she's around people who she likes. Gosh. I wish that we could see them in their own show. Let them have their own show, or put Tisha. Oh, no, this is unnecessary fodder. I'm getting tired. Anyway, so that was that with she also had a situation where she wanted to talk to Kiowa, or she wanted to be involved in the conversation between Maurice, Monster and Kiowa, or she felt like sometimes Maurice doesn't really acknowledge her in these conversations, and she feels like as the bonus mother that she should be involved, right? So, so she just takes her opportunity to swoop on in whenever she does. I don't know how welcome that is. I don't know how unwelcome it is. Maurice doesn't respond negatively. I don't see why he would have an issue with her being there, but I definitely see why sometimes it might need to just be Maurice, Monster, and his mother. Not just be that, but I just understand why a lot of times it could just be that, and no one, because he could very easily relay them. I don't know. I don't get it, but I'm not in that situation, right? So yeah, so I'm gonna stop it here because the last time I did this, it acted funny, so I'm gonna stop it here. Oh no, I'll just keep on talking. I'll just keep looking at it to see if it stops. So that was the situation with them, and Kimmy was laughing while she was talking about it. So I don't think it's really a situation. So that was that, and whatever. I enjoy them together, you know. Mel and Martel. Do I want to go, or Tisha and Marcel? So Tisha and Marcel, they seem to have a really good relationship, like simpatico relationship. When you watch their Instagram lives and stuff like that, and that's just how it is. I spoke on it earlier. You just have to peel back the layers in any relationship to see that all that glitters is not gold. But I don't think that I really know, or that obviously don't know, what the real tea is. But from what I see on Instagram, I really enjoy their dynamic. Tisha seems to be a great support. They seem to balance each other out as far as Tisha's softness. And that's what I love about Tisha. I love that she is soft and sensitive. And to me, you can't get more real than that. I love a person with their heart on their sleeve that's going to speak up for themselves in a way that people don't really understand. People don't understand that you're speaking up for yourself when you say how you feel, whether it's I feel sad or hurt, or whether if I straight up say you hurt my feelings, someone might look at that as weak. Someone might look at me as corny or something for talking about it. But I don't think you can get stronger than admitting something like that, because when we don't admit that our feelings are hurt, it snowballs into other crap. So that, to me, that's strong, and it's admirable. I'm not someone who's always going to I don't really do the passive aggressive thing either. I just kind of move on from stuff. Like, I just don't deal with people. If someone shows me something the way that Tisha's been shown on this show, if someone shows me who they are, I just kind of take them for what they are. And if I don't appreciate or enjoy the way they are, I don't deal with them. Okay. Obviously there's some things that I don't see that are redeeming qualities to some of these people. I'll just say that. And that's not to say anything negative about Marcel, because because I see, and I think everyone sees, especially as time went on, they see what it is that is attractive about this man. Like, his drive is obvious. Do you know what I mean? Like, his drive is obvious. His sense of humor is... his wit is unmatched on the show. I'll say that. He's very quick with it, and he's very funny with it. What did he say? That just kind of, to me, like, even in this episode when he was talking to Tisha about... let me stop gushing over anybody, because I don't want to make this video too much longer. Tisha sat down with Marcel, and she was, gushing about how much she enjoyed the celebration for her graduation that he set up. And she said that she noticed that, like, she was going to say it was so good, but it was so enjoyable, but she just wishes that her mom was there. And then she said she thought about it and realized that it was enjoyable because her mother wasn't there. And then I think Marcel said facts. They were just kind of highlighting that Miss Wanda would come in and cause dissension. As if dissension wasn't there, except for Miss Wanda. This is what I love about Miss Wanda. If she feel a way, she's going to say it loud enough for you to hear it, and loud enough that you cannot act like you didn't hear it. You have to respond to it. And if that causes the ruckus, depending on the event, if that causes a ruckus, then you have to. Sometimes you got to cleanse by fire. Anyway, I'm not going to gush on these people. This is my favorite couple. I don't know if it's obvious. Anyway. So yeah, let's get back to the conversation. So she's telling him that she appreciated the celebration, and she acknowledged the fact that her mother causes issues and makes events not so enjoyable when she does come. Marcel said facts, and then he said, well, there was some mess, and he told her about how Tisha's family confronted him, about Tisha's brother confronted him about remember there was this, the rumors about a side baby. Supposedly, I think it was all about the tea. Supposedly this is some panel thing, people channel on YouTube. It was like 6 people or something, and one of them said that they talked to some girl that was Marcel's side chick, and that she had I was gonna say he bought her a Benz. This is so much stuff going on. Like, it's just, I don't know how people, I guess other people will write it down in order to keep it organized, but for me, I want to do this channel because I enjoy ranting, and I'm thinking that some people might enjoy, hearing it. So yes. So like I was saying, there's so much stuff that I just jumble it up, because I think that it was Martell that got his side woman, or Ariana, his other woman, a car. So I don't think that was the story with Marcel, but the story with Marcel and the reason why the brother confronted him was because there was supposed to be a side baby. Whatever the woman it was that he had on the side was supposedly had a baby, and it was, I think they said it was like 10 years old or something like that. I don't know. But so that ended up being debunked, and that channel, All About the Tea, I think is the name of the channel, All About the Tea, the panel, that imploded shortly after. I don't know if that rumor was true. Marcel put some roots on that person who put that, or that channel who put that rumor out there. So the brother apparently had not heard about the fact that the rumor was debunked, or either the rumor hadn't yet been debunked when they had this celebration. And so Marcel pretty much joked it off, and the thing about it, like I'm saying, I think that there's a time and place, but I think that there's nothing wrong with a conversation, like the brother said, brother to brother. I think it's nothing wrong with, if I see you and I haven't addressed the issue that I've had with you, I will tell you what the issue is, and you can respond, and then that be that. What is more functional than communication? Honest communication. Jeez, like, and so, and then, but he did, I think he might have gotten a little bit ambushed for his other side of the tracks insult that he hurled at Tisha, and then doubled down on last season. They asked him about the other side of the tracks conversation, or comment, and he said that, I think that you guys think that when I say that, I'm saying that the side of the tracks I was on was better, and it's just a very bullshit ass response or whatever. I think that I think that a straight up person, and that's something that people give Marcel credit for, being straight up. And I think that a straight up person would have said, yeah, because apparently he has apologized to Tisha for making that comment since. I think that it just would have made more sense to be like, well, I just said that to her. I was angry and I said that. And I was wrong, And I would have said, I don't get along with Miss Wanda. And so that's what we were talking about, and that's why I said that. I didn't say it to offend y'all. I was just mad at Tisha, and it just happened to be caught on camera. But I would love to get back to enjoying the celebration, because me and Tisha are not there anymore, and we are here celebrating her graduation. We've moved forward, as they like to say on this show. Tisha loves to say it the most. You know what I'm saying? It's funny. So so that happened, and then Marcel said, I would forgive you if you had a side baby. And Tisha was like, that's good to know. I mean, I would never do that, but I want you to know that I would never forgive you. I would take you for all you got. Now, that was my favorite line that was seen in the trailer. That's when I said, look, I got to watch this, because I got to see my girl speaking truth to power. I will take you for all you got. And she had said before that, she said, like, in response to him saying about the brother, with the brother confronting him, and the way by the way, the way that Marcel responded to the brother confronting him was like making a joke. I think, I don't know what he said on what they showed of his response was him making a joke, something like that you might be an uncle, something like that, playing it off, and then they showed Marcel making a funny face. So she was saying that in response to her brother confronting him, she just said it's just crazy how people still believe that, or people believe anything they hear on the internet, because if that was going on, all hell would be breaking loose. It wouldn't be, it would be no peace around this motherfucker. She didn't say that, but not in so many words. Okay, basically there would be no peace around here. I'd be upside your head. We'd be in court. And I'm trying to get all your monies, because you did that or whatever. So that was that on that. They ended the scene with Marcel making another face. He's really funny. I'm sorry. It's just, he reminds me of he reminds me of a corporate Stevie J. I love Stevie J too. Anyway, so that is Tisha and Marcel this episode. And then lastly, Mel and Martel. Now, so I started off the beginning of the video talking about how I felt about the situation in the beginning. Like, I was team Mel, and even last season, off and on, I don't really completely dislike anybody on the cast, and to the point where I want to see them in pain. I don't enjoy seeing any of them in pain. Mel teared up today while she and Martell were talking to a co-parenting coach. I don't know if that's her title, but that's basically what they were there to do, to talk to somebody about a plan to co-parent so they can co-parent better for the children. And she teared up when she brought up she said that she would love for Marcel to come get the kids when he's supposed to, instead of calling her and saying, you guys just, on days that he's supposed to come get them, he would call her and just say, you guys just keep on doing what you're doing, and that be that. So he said, he started tearing up. He was just saying, it's hard because I used to always get the kids and do a lot of things with them, but now with the ways things are, financially, and so it's not the same financially, and now I can't do as much as I could do. And he started tearing up, and oh my gosh, like, it was just a moment, and she was tearing up too. And he saw her tear up, and that seemed to be making him tear up more. I don't know what he was feeling in that moment, in that exact moment. He got up to say, so he asked for a Kleenex, but then he got up, he excused himself to go get a Kleenex, and he brought one back to Mel, and he sat back down, and they kept on talking. And you hate to hear, Martell did make this bed that he's laying in, that he's suffering in, that we're watching him suffer in. He made this bed. Um, and it's sad. It's sad to see anybody broken, and he's struggling. And she said, to the camera, in her confessional, that anyone who can watch someone who they loved for as long as she loved Martell, struggle and not feel a way about it, probably never loved that person anyway. And that makes sense. I don't love, I love them as God's children, but I don't love them. But I felt for every time Mel tears up, every time Martell tears up, I feel for them because they're humans and they're clearly going through something. Martell is he's the scale in which Martell is receiving his comeuppance is much bigger than most cheaters have to deal with. I complained that Mel was a lot of vindictive. She was very vindictive. A lot of vindictiveness coming from Mel. Last season, I think it was, and maybe the first season too. But I just got tired of her being, vindictive, but I understood, but you just get tired of seeing it. And I just wonder if some of her tears were because, like, damn, because he eventually, as he kept on talking, Mel he was saying how Mel had him whenever, because she admitted that when he was going through what he was going through, when she was going through what she was going through, sometimes she would be in the closet balled up with a blanket on her, just crying, and he would have to come in there and be there for her. He said the difference is that he would be there for her. Mel would not be there for him. Nobody is there for him in this time. He was, and you see this is what's the word? This is a recurring theme with Martell. He wants someone to understand what he's going through, to sympathize with him, and to tell him, you have been through enough. You have given enough penance for what you did. He wants that. But who can say that? Who can say that? Because really what you're going through is the results of what you did. And it's just sad because I don't want to see nobody going through so much, especially someone who wants to be, with their kids and wants to, and he's what he's talking about in the moment is what he could do for his kids. He probably doesn't want his kids to see him. It's probably embarrassing for him to he's probably embarrassed because he can't do what he used to do for his kids. He's probably embarrassed. He doesn't want his kids to see how his life has changed. It's probably embarrassing. It's just so sad. And then they talked about how when they got outside, they talked about, because earlier in the episode, Chris, their friend Chris and Nell, or remember last season, Nell tried to get them together, and that's when Mel popped off and threw glass. Because Martell kept talking about how the other girl satisfies him, and Mel was tired of hearing this, so she threw a glass. And so it was an unsuccessful meeting that they had set up. But Chris and Nell are their friends, and Nell and Chris had gone to Mel last episode and asked her about building on the 47 acres. And she basically said that, well, he did this because the developer that he was dealing with needed someone who had their licensing, and apparently Martell does not. And so they wanted to go to Mel because she has her licensing going on. So he went to Mel, and Mel let him know, like, I'll think about it, but this is Martell's thing, and this is her looking out for Martell. And I thought that was cool. She's finally not trying to stab him every chance she can, yeah. So Martell went to go. So when Martell went to go visit Chris on this episode, and earlier in the episode, Chris told Martell about that, and Marcel was mad because he was just like, you're supposed to be my friend. I'm struggling. I'm trying to get back on top, and you have this opportunity here for me. That I do what I do without my licensing. I would have figured it out. Why would you go to Mel? And he just was so hurt by that. So he just feels like nobody has his back. Remember how he was checking checking Destiny for not having his side. He just feels alone. And like, when you do wrong and you're gonna have, when you do when you live like no consequences are coming, when the consequences come, they are dire, and you doing it on TV, and that's, it's just like, I remember a couple times last season, Mel tried to say something about his, like she said, well, what happened to your lawyer? Why'd you fire your lawyer? He's like, shut up. And now I'm thinking that he fired the lawyer because he couldn't afford him. It's just sad, man. But I don't, it's a deep situation, because like I said, he deserved, like, I'm gonna say he did it to himself, I'll say. But he does feel like Mel did it to him. And he needs to go figure out, I don't know what kind of therapist can fix him and make him understand that it's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. You did it to yourself. The vindictiveness should stop at some point. Her having issues with you speaking on your fifth child, or sending her friends to come check you for speaking on your fifth child. Yeah, all that extra stuff should stop at some point. That stuff is on them. Okay? People are all responsible for their own reaction, or their own actions and reactions. But you should not feel any. You should just keep on. You should stop trying to blame somebody else, really, because it's on you. This one is on you, and I don't know how he can come to understand that. But so they went outside, and out after the talking to the counselor, the co-parenting counselor. They went outside and they were talking about. He confronted her. He asked her about the situation with Chris, and just basically was like, you don't build no house. You never built a house before. She was like, well, if that's the case, you never built a house before either. I've never seen you put no brick on no brick to build no house. And he was like, you're lying. And so who knows? I don't know. Who knows what that was about, but it was typical. And it was, but it was nice to see them in the confessional again together. I don't know. Like, this is just one of those real life things. Like, I have a friend whose husband cheated on her. I don't remember the details, because the thing about it is, when my friends talk to me about things, I just listen, and I kind of react in the way that I think that is, like, unless it's like something really, really crazy. If it's something really bad, like you're telling me your husband cheated on you, and they had a baby, Number one, I don't know how to respond. I don't know what can help you. I don't know what you should do. So I'm not going to try to sway you to do anything. And I didn't try to sway her to do anything. I just listened to her. I tried to be as positive as possible, and as appropriately possible. And when it came time for her to admit that they were working it out and getting back together, I was like, yay. She was just like, well, that's crazy, because most people are like, why are you taking him back? And the truth is, I'm happy because I know you love him. I know you love him, and the way you explain things is, I can tell you are understanding as to why he did what he did. And I can tell you have hope that he and belief and faith in the fact that he wouldn't do it again to you. So why would I want you to be separate from someone who you love if it's a possibility that it can work as a friend? Neither my friend nor her husband are anywhere near narcissistic personalities like Mel and Martel, but maybe it's a situation like Judge Toller would say, like, just stay together so you don't mess up anybody else. Like, I don't know, but that's how I felt at the end of the episode. It was I love the show. I love it. It's just the best reality TV show that's out there right now. Just have to kind of admit that I love smut. No, I just, I'm very interested in these people and these particular people's lives. And hopefully at some point it will all steer more towards, not all, because not everything's going to be positive or perfect, but hopefully at some point we'll have some more positivity. At the beginning of, was it this last season? I think it was when I don't know, at some point, I saw, Maurice had graduated the season before, and he what I forget, I shouldn't speak on it because I don't really, they had something, and they were just something about, Black Lives Matter, I think it was just something about black folks, and it was like, it had been a while since we had seen them talking about anything about, black improvement, and this, the beginning of the episode, that particular episode started that way, and I'm just like, yes, but it descended back into craziness again, but it ended, I think this might be the last season I'm talking about. But it ended in positivity again because they opened up black. They had the mural with their beautiful black sons on it. Oh, gorgeous. Sadly, they had the ending with Martell and Melody, Melanie and wait, Melody. Ooh, oh, shut up. Okay. One of these days I'm gonna slip up. So that was the episode. I hope that I did not go on too much. I hope that that there is someone who might want to talk about this with me in the comments. If there is, I hope that they will do so. Jump down there and let me know what you think about my thoughts on this, the extraness that I added to it. I enjoy I'm somebody who, like, if they put, like, let me give an example. Like, I really enjoyed the movie The Turning. Like, most people hated it, but I enjoyed it because it was so raw, so bare, like, just so basic that I could add, my imagination could do whatever with it that I wanted it to do. Like, I could just go anywhere with it. And when I watch things, I watch them unless they're horrible, it's no way that there's no redeeming qualities that I can find in this thing that I'm watching. I'm going to enjoy it because my mind is going to make it into something I enjoy. I'm going to put 20 on 10 at all times. So if I've done too much with this, then I'm just sorry that I just did it. That's just who I am. And I'm loquacious. And I'm going to remain loquacious. And I hope that we can get loquacious together. Oh, speaking of loquacious, just real quick. Mel's friend Tiffany is going to, it's just funny how Mel told her friend Tiffany that she is going to really enjoy Destiny. They're going to go, this is the person that we saw in the trailer that was talking about how they saw Monster vaping, and they saw Destiny's ex-husband with some woman that wasn't him. That is the woman who, in this episode, Mel told her that she was going to and really like her. And it's just like, it's funny to me because anytime someone tells me that I'm going to really like someone, that we're really going to get along, I never do. Because loquacious people do not get along together. Because when is it my turn to talk? I want to say something sometime. Can I get a word in? It doesn't happen because it's just too much loquaciousness going on. Yeah. So, all right. Thank you for listening.